Viburnums happen to be probably one of my most favorite plants. And a lot of the reason is because of the wonderful spring bloom. As you can see, most of them are white, and we'll talk about some of the different varieties that I have grown. There are some native varieties, and there's also some introduced species from Asia. And there's about 150 species in all. And there are lots and lots and lots of different cultivars. I'm just always enamored in the fact that I think there's a viburnum for every type of situation. They can be deciduous, and there are some varieties that are semi-evergreen and some varieties that are evergreen. So definitely, if you're looking to put one in the landscape, do your research and find out which ones are which. Some like it shade, some like semi-shade, and some like sun. So like I said, there's a viburnum for every situation. There are viburnums that only grow up to 3 foot, and then there's ones that will grow 15 to 30 foot tall. So just once again, do your research. Most of them bloom. Some of them put on berries. Some are sterile, and we'll cover some of that. And really, what I like about viburnums is there's just not too many problems with them when it comes to pests. I know that there's a few of them that might get woodpecker damage on the stems. There might be some that there might be a caterpillar here and there eating, but for the most part, no serious problems, which I really like. Just to give a few examples of some of my favorite varieties, this is what we call a Korean spice viburnum. This is Viburnum carlesii. Very popular with most gardeners, and it's because they are very fragrant to the point where you can be 10 feet, 15 feet away from it and still smell it. It's just amazing. This one is deciduous, meaning it's going to lose its leaves, blooms April to May. The blooms are usually probably 2 to 3 inches in diameter. The cluster is. Plant only gets about 4 to 5 feet tall. And like I said, this one, you can't beat it when it comes to fragrance. It's very fragrant. Another one, this is a native that I really like. This is the Arrowwood Viburnum. I really like this one because you can actually make it into a hedge. Plant it closer together. It works as a screen, fairly rapid grower. It will lose its leaves. Just keep that in mind. I really like the leaf, how it's jagged, and it just really gives a really different texture to the garden. It does bloom in May through June, so it's getting ready to bloom here in the southern part of the state. The flowers are not fragrant, however. They're just very beautiful. It's a cluster or umbel of flowers, usually 3 to 4 inches wide. And then what I also like about the Arrowwood is the fact that it gives a really pretty color. It can be anywhere from a yellow to an orange. And I've seen some of them get a dark orange, and they also have berries, which the wildlife will eat. One that's real popular with gardeners also is the Snowball Viburnum. This is one that is commonly mistaken for a hydrangea, and mainly because it has that big mop head bloom. But in viburnums, we call it snowballs. Native to Asia, these snowballs can be anywhere from 3 to 8 inches in diameter. The plant is usually a nice ace shape, and it gets about 8 to 10 feet tall. There are a couple of smaller varieties that you can get, or cultivars. Once again, blooms May through June. The flowers, once again, are not fragrant, and they are sterile. So which means that snowball bushes generally do not have the berries. Another popular one we see is Leatherleaf Viburnum. Here in Southeast Missouri, it is an evergreen. In northern areas, it is probably a semi-evergreen to a deciduous plant, just depending on how cold it gets. One thing I do not like about this one is the far left picture. It gets a little weepy looking in the winter, and I don't tend to like that as much. I've had one, and to me, the weeping makes it look a little sickly, but other people like it. They say it doesn't bother them. It does get a nice spring bloom on it. And it has some red berries that are very attractive later in the year, and also can feed the wildlife. So this ends up being a really nice one. Gardeners use this one for an evergreen in my area. One of my most favorite is a Cranberry bush viburnum. This is actually a native. What I like is the leaves are different. They look like a maple leaf, or they have that palmate leaf design. They are very fragrant. A lot like carlesii, you can smell them for many feet away. The blooms are bigger. They have sterile as well as fertile flowers in the what I call lace cap. The bush does get fairly large. It's 12 to 15 feet tall, but it is an amazing shrub. Birds really like nesting in it. They really like eating the berries. One thing I hear a lot of gardeners talk about in having cranberry bush viburnums is they actually use the berries to make jelly. It's a very tart berry, so you would have to add sugar, but there are recipes out there for making cranberry jelly. One of the other ones that I have that I grow in my yard that is fascinating is one called the Doublefile Viburnum. Once again, native to Asia. What makes this one different than a lot of the other viburnums is the blooms, the way they're set on the branches. They are in a tiered horizontal design along the branches. And so you get blooms upon blooms upon blooms. And so when you look at this bush, it's amazing how many blooms are actually blooming at one time. Fragrant, very nice. Some people, there's some varieties that people tell me stink, actually. There's other varieties of the Doublefile that actually smell good. It just depends on which cultivar it is. They bloom in May. They do get fairly large. The ones at the university here at Southeast Missouri State are probably 15, 20 feet tall, but they are massive and they put on a show when they bloom. They do have red berries on some selections. Some of the newer cultivars are sterile, but the ones that are not, they will have the red berries. And one that does is the carlesii, and that happens to be probably one of the favorites of the gardeners in my area. So definitely take some time, do some research, and find out which ones that you want to plant in your yard. Like I said, the world of viburnums is very large, and so take a look. You might visit the local arboretums or the botanical gardens and look around for some of the different viburnums if you're interested in planting one in your yard.